Houston, we have a problem.
This is bullshit. I'm not listening to this. You are insane.
No, you're insane. You simply do not have time for this crap.
I'll use small words so that you'll be sure to understand, you warthog-faced buffoon.
You shut your foul mouth!
Yeah, that's my message to you. Fuck you and kiss my ass.
You were just dumber than a bag of hammers.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. May God have mercy on your soul.
You are now tuned in to Dusty Vision Radio.
Dusty Vision Radio, Super Audio Network. Thank you so much for joining the program. Sitting here with my boy Dre Day all day.
Yeah.
What up, Dre Day?
I mean, COVID's crazy.
Oh man, it's lockdown time. It's New World Order time. We're gonna get into that a little bit later. But most of you know that my mission, my number one mission, is uniting the hood, black, brown, and everything in between. I rep my brand, Hood Peace, to the fullest, and I'm actually rocking a shirt today. Hood brand, half red, half blue, with the gun crossed out in the middle. And for that reason, I'm very excited about talking with my next guest. Very positive brother. I've been following his movement for quite some time, and I definitely want to introduce him to my audience. A lot of you probably already know him. But on the line, ladies and gentlemen, I have Supa Nova Slom, a.k.a. OG Medicine Man. What up, dude?
Wellness Warrior salute.
Man, it's definitely a pleasure to have you on the program. I want to talk a little bit about your mission, a couple of your missions, throughout our conversation here. But I would love to just go all the way back, before you were who you are today. You're from Brooklyn, correct?
Right.
Cool. Talk to me about when you, quote unquote, I guess jumped off the porch.
Brooklyn in the 90s, my first, dissension in the street, I was started out with the Low Lives. My set was the Sportsman, and that boosting and that whole situation and getting into that side of the game in the 90s in Brooklyn, that was pretty much where it was at. Around that time, a lot of the big bros behind the wall, when a lot of us were boosting up, you had the UB and, United Blood Nation forming behind the walls, and that beef was escalated with the Latin Kings and the Bloods, and they started to spill in the streets. A lot of us, the younger cats, were still hustling and boosting, so we wasn't necessarily directly absorbed as of yet, but we know a lot of that eventually spilled over because a lot of the relatives, again, were behind the G-wall. So, my community where I'm from in Crown Heights, specifically where I was raised in Crown Heights, the original formation with the Bloods in the East Coast, in Brooklyn specifically, was around 60% of them was in my neighborhood, I'm saying, in Crown Heights. And so you had that, of course you still had the elements of the DCEPs and still lingering around. You had various stick-up kid crews and a lot of boosting crews, but a lot of that got absorbed up in the politics of what was happening behind the G-wall, spilling into the streets. For me, it was dual because I actually have relatives from the West Coast, from LA. With my family, I have family that are actually connected to Athens Park Bloods and the Jungles, and on the red side, and I actually have some cousins that are from Hoover Crips, and some of them now have became Hoover criminals. You know what I'm saying? Cut off the the original Crip formation. But anyway, so I've already had that in my family. I necessarily wasn't claiming that with them because the East Coast at the time, when I would go visit, I visited my family in South Central in the summers. At least every other summer. So I was exposed to that through them. To a lot of that conflict they had going on. When out in the East Coast, because we were so into the hustling and boosting and stuff, I was hearing little things here and there about homies that were going in and out of jail and what's going on. I didn't pay any attention until it really hit out around late 94, 95. It started spilling in the street, you know. So my advantage was the fact that I had relatives already from the West Coast, and I was, you know, boots on the ground witnessing, you know, what's happening in my hood. You know what I'm saying? Everybody moved from hustlers to banging. Like I said, you know, the Crips, we didn't really hear too much about Crips in New York. You heard about the some Harlem Crips, literally some Harlem Crips. You know what I'm saying? That were mainly in the hustling, but not necessarily on a set trip. You know, with no Bloods. You know what I'm saying? They were kind of, you heard about them loosely. If you had any connections to homies in Jersey, you know, a lot of that was still going on because a lot of the Jersey, unlike a lot of the East Coast homies at the time, a lot of the Jersey brothers were plugged in directly to direct sets out in the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? In New York was kind of more independent. But the conflict again initially happened with the Latin Kings in that, you know, and that dealt for a while. I got absorbed in that, and you know, around the time I got absorbed in that conflict, you know, pretty much, you know, I used to come from school and I used to get jumped by the Latin Kings because my homies was Bloods.
Damn.
Initially. Say, I mean, all the time, like literally, it was a weekly thing. We just be getting jumped by Latin Kings. So you know, just because of that oppression, you know, and me being in the community I was from was predominantly Blood. You know, I just got caught up in that whole struggle. You know what I'm saying? Not even necessarily trying to necessarily rep the nation like that, just because of the oppression. I just was tired of like his, you know, jumping homies. You know what I mean? So but as I started to let my, you know, talk to my partners and my family out in the West Coast about what was happening in the street, you know, they were real surprised about how that, you know, showed up in New York. And I remember some of my elders told me initially, you know, a lot of them were already tapped in as Panther Cubs, already black conscious, even though they was, you know, affiliated with the streets. And they were like, man, you got to teach them knowledge yourself with this gang shit, man. You know, you got to, you know, be on the original intent. If, you know, if y'all got that in New York, you know, it's a different culture. You know, y'all have a lot of influence, you know what I'm saying, with the 5%ers and this and that and that, you know, the Nation of Gods and Earths and, you know, the Nation of Islam. So, you know, you should really hold brothers and sisters accountable to that side of the knowledge. Around the same time, you had the Million Man March happening. And then that, you know, that pretty much, I remember when I went down there, I had a lot of the homies from my hood, and a lot of the homies that initially became Damus was out there. We ran into some Crip partners, you know what I'm saying, that we didn't even know they was, you know, some of them was from New York. They were linked in with some of the homies from the West. And automatically, we just bonded, you know, just because spirit of Million Man March. So you had homies, you know, you had New York brothers that was repping red and blue. And that was the first time when I was in D.C. that I saw so many Crip brothers claiming from New York. I never know they was even out there like that. You know, besides the small Harlem Crips I knew was out there. But it was just love, though. You know, initially it wasn't the blue on red thing happening, maybe because the spirit of the Million Man March. So, you know, I took that as an opportunity, the camaraderie, you know, around the time that the Rodney King thing popped off, the verdict, you know, and I went to visit my family right a few months after they did the 92 truce, you know what I'm saying, around South Central, Watts, you know, Inglewood and so forth, Compton, right? It started in Watts and it spread across LA, but I was out there a few months after, just looking, it looked like a war zone. Everything was burned down.
Yeah.
But I remember a lot of the family members, you know, they had these T-shirts, you know, with the rags tied together and saying Crips and Bloods United, and you know, black. They had, and I was inspired totally by that, you know, and so when we started to form up and when I started seeing the spirit of the camaraderie at the Million Man March of all the homies, how this gravitated, you know, on some black power empowerment shit that transcended hood politics. You know, that was the spirit that woke me up, you know, besides, you know, again, I was, like I said, you know, young, you claiming it based upon being oppressed by rivals. But then, you know, right in the midst of that consciousness, I'm realizing it's connected to a greater cause. So I took that upon myself to pretty much, you know, to make that be part of my charge, because I had the ability to, you know, I have family members from the West Coast. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn. I'm in the middle of the beginning swelling of blue and red in New York. You know what I mean? So I rather than just and Bloods, you know, kind of like the West Coast, well, in the Southern California, Bloods outnumber Crips, you know, 10-1 in the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? Because of the influence. So the Bloods had a very powerful movement, and so I immediately distinguished myself amongst the homies. Initially, right in 1995, you know what I'm saying, right after the main man march, I established Unified Hood, and it was real dangerous because this is when a lot of the homies were really spilling into the streets, um, and around about 1997, about 2 years after the march, you see a lot of Crip conflict. A lot of the Crip homies started really, really, multiplying in New York. So it was really dangerous at the time for me to really, hold the blue and red flag together. Even though I was coming from the red side, I felt there was a greater cause. As being Panther Cubs and being, part of the original intent. I just felt that, New York, if we're going to actually take on this legacy that is, really a dissension, because of who we are in New York, we should distinguish our formation based upon knowledge of self and really transcend. So that was a 20-year fight. You know what I'm saying? I had many highs and lows with it. Blessed, I never got shot, stabbed, or violated for repping the unity. I got a lot of respect. Although I did get Crips always ran up on me. Always. I was always got caught slipping with a bunch of Crips, but always got caught slipping, passing out pamphlets. People knew me in New York for passing out these yellow and orange pamphlets, based upon the original intent, original principles, of the Crips and Bloods. This history that I caught, folklore and stuff that I learned from big homies and family members from the West Coast that would teach me, different acronyms initially. You could tell that, the original young brothers at the time, they were still coming out of that Black Power civil rights movement. You know what I mean? So some of the initial spirit of the Panther Cubs was still in the acronyms, Community Revolution and Progress, you know what I'm saying? Community Independence, Panthers in red uniforms before bastardized itself into becoming pimps in red uniforms, Paru. You felt the original spirit, and so I felt that it was, as a Panther Cub and being a warrior, I felt, man, we should be taking this type of tone not only in New York but nationwide. We should be an example, from the South, from the West, Midwest. We should take this, the camp, still claim your hood or your set, but as far as the nations of the blue and red nations, they belong to the Black family, and even if you go to Chicago with the folk nation and the people nation, the same spirit comes out of that civil rights Black Power module, so I've always felt the need to inspire and empower the homies back to the original intent, whether they represent the 5, the 6, the blue or the red, east or the west side. My stance was always, we go through our rites of passage, we go through our adolescence of banging, right? But if we're able to survive and learn and have knowledge of self, we can still rep where we're from and claim where we're from, but we evolve and go from banging to building, and there are examples of many, Crips and Bloods from the West, wherever they may be from in this country, that were able to, grow beyond banging and actually, become, businessmen, what I'm saying, and women, and use that acronym to inspire brothers and sisters legitly that was not selling dope, what I'm saying, to really be just themselves. And I really wanted to highlight that, we always highlight the heroes and sheroes of the dope world as far as coming from the gang side, but we never really highlight and celebrate brothers and sisters that made it up out of the banging to building, that still represent their blue or red, their 5 or 6, that actually have legitimized themselves, I'm saying, that actually formed industries and became mentors, still have their foot in the hood and repping where they repping, but they keep that Panther Cub thing going on a really high level. So that has been my fuel, that's been my drive, that has been my stake in the G community since the 90s, and I never let that flag go.
Yeah, I've been watching your videos a lot, like I said, and you and a couple of other cats out there were kind of my education, for gangs on the East Coast. One of your videos that stood out to me, I may be butchering the title, so forgive me, but it's something along the lines of, "Are you a real Crip or Blood?" And it was probably about 10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago. You're right.
Yeah, about 10 years ago. One of your older ones. You had the dreads back then.
The braids.
Yeah, the braids. My bad.
Yeah.
I would love for you to kind of explain that to my audience, because from what I understand in your mind, Crip and Blood started as something, and then somewhere along the line, it went a different route.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is this. I mean, if Crips, Bloods, Folk Nation, People Nation, these are all children of the Panthers, directly or indirectly. version of the Black Power movement. Okay, the vacuum and the lack of these men being able to transfer that militant spirit to these youngsters, you know what I'm saying, who were hunted down by, you know what I'm saying, this, the nation's elite government bodies, mainly J. Edgar Hoover, that those men were deprived an opportunity to cultivate their youngsters. Their youngsters not having those fathers and their uncles available to really cultivate them and pass on that black conscious militant power, or you know what I'm saying, and warriorship, left a vacuum. You know what I mean? So all of the hoods we talk about on the West Coast, Watts, Inglewood, Compton, South Central, and throughout just the suburbs, you know what I'm saying, San Diego, all of those big homies that, from 65 to 72 were, if not part of the US organization led by Karinga and them, or Panthers. Period. That's a fact. So if that's a fact.
Yep.
So the fact is, the big homies of the ones that became, various Crip sets, their big homies, their mentors, their uncles, grandfathers, and fathers were black militants. You know what I'm saying? So when I say, the Crips and Bloods came out of that black empowerment, or that original intent, that's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Or even if I go to the East Coast aspect of it, you know what I'm saying, the United Blood Nation from the Blood side, right? The big homies of the Bloods behind the gangster wall, the G wall, you know what I'm saying, was the Nation of Gods and Earths. That's a lot of the initial brothers that formed up and became Bloods, came up out of that not itself. So that's why a lot of the East Coast lingo with Bloods is a little different from the West Coast, because a lot of the East Coast lingo with the Bloods, peace, blood, or peace almighty, that's coming from the Nation of Gods and Earths influence. So when you start tracking the initial intent of how these formulations started, it always has some knowledge of self in it. It always has some empowerment. It always has trying to raise up over oppression in it. Whether you look from the Crip side, from the West side to the East side, or like I said, you go to Chi-Town in the Midwest. All of the origins go back to a struggle in a moment initially where the young people were trying to find their voice in the civil rights and in the Black Power movement to do something. Unfortunately, because of lack of cultivation, you know what I'm saying, their conflicts got exasperated and unmanaged, and then it became, a death legacy. But what I do, I highlight the original in blueprint, the original red print of what brothers and sisters were initially trying to signal. And that initial DNA is what I hold true to when I talk about unify the hood and heal the hood, and using that spirit that a lot of times is overlooked. We look into the death culture of the gangs, but we don't highlight, again, the building, the positive side of homies that were really, they were young, but they were trying to signal something greater, And so what I do, and a lot of comrades that I've come up with, we highlight the action steps of holding the brothers and sisters accountable to a higher cause, a higher power, right? And so when that clip of the Are you a real blood and Crip, I was mainly talking about, the true spirit, the true intent of any of these street organizations is to, one, procure resources, educate each other and protect the environment, and if we can use those original tenets, you know what I'm saying, to hold each set, each tribe accountable, then the nation of that tribe, right, the various Crip sets that form the nation, and the various blood sets that form the nation of the Bloods and the Crips, they belong to the black race. So they're not in a vacuum by themselves. They're not some aliens from another planet, right? But because we don't necessarily hold these tenets in place, we just out here wilding out. And so when I was calling out in that particular video, I was in a room full of bangers. That happened to be in Jersey where I was coming out to speak to the hip hop summit. But Jersey's known. Everybody know, South Orange, East Orange, South Orange, all that's that's Crips and Bloods. You know what I'm saying? And some of the most powerful ones out here in Jersey. So, I was the spirit allowed me to speak to that warrior class, and to inspire them, not to disrespect them, but to inspire them, use the ancestral tone to speak life back into them, and that warrior tone, so they can, go back into their various sets and hoods and re-energize from banging to building. because the depth culture ain't giving us nothing. But if we tap into the original formation, the original tenets, we can use those to continue the fellowship amongst the various tribes and the nations and the G's, you know what I'm saying, to do something to actually be sustainable and transformable to these young brothers and sisters that are in the vacuum of white supremacy and the vacuum of oppression.
Yeah. And your clothing has a blood flag stitched on the left side and Crip flag stitched on the right. Explain to people why you did that, the significance behind it.
Well, traditionally, you know, the right side is affiliated with the Bloods, and the left side is the Crips. Mm-hmm. So you trying to, if the metaphysics is, you know, if I'm on the right side and I'm Sue whooping, I want that blue, that true blue, to be united on my right. You know, if I'm trued up on my left, I want that blood to pump through my left. You know, it's also representing the right and left brain hemisphere. You know what I'm saying? The yin and the yang, the ma'at, the male and the female, saying the polarities. So, you know, your left is your right is your left. You know what I'm saying? They all work in tandem for you. So you, even in the brain, you know, your right side of your body helps to function the left side. The left side of your body helps function the right. And so, you know, if you got the warriors on the right side and they, you know, their polar opposite or complement would be the left side. If the homies on the left side, their complement in alignment in metaphysics will be on the right side. So my clothes were not really a fashion statement. It was speaking to the inner mind. Mm-hmm. It was speaking to the conscious mind, to the spiritual mind of our brothers and sisters to plant a seed of possibility to wake them up from banging to building.
Love that shit. Love that. Now, I would love to talk a little bit of hip hop with you, since I know that is something that is near to your heart as well.
Right.
Specifically, I would like to talk about gangster rap, and to get even more specific, the first, you know, I guess conversation I want to have with you in regards to that is probably the biggest story in the past couple of years. He's a little rainbow-headed kid from Brooklyn.
Right.
You know, obviously talking about Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Right.
In hindsight, I would love to know your thoughts on that whole situation.
Yeah. I mean, bottom line is this: I know most of those brothers that got, you know, caught up. You know, most of them are from my community. You know, they from my hood. You know, high school guy. You know, so a lot of those brothers, like I know a lot of them, basic in the movement, and a lot, you know, regardless of the gravity of the industry and the gravity of, you know, decisions that are necessarily not conducive for them, took them in another direction, but. I've actually, some of those comrades that got caught up in that were really trying, when I was working with them in the streets, were really active. A lot of those brothers, you know, were really active to support, you know, the Unified Hood and Heal the Hood movement, especially healing amongst the Damus, the Bloods. So, yeah, I know a lot of those names very well, you know, in that, without really blowing them up directly because of the situation. But I could definitely say, and I've spoken about this in public, the problem with that was 6ix9ine was the bag, right? He was the artist. And to me, you know, and I've spoken to the homies about this, you know, he should have been in protected investment, you know? But the problem was that the brothers did not understand, you know, they never had an opportunity to have an artist represent that particular set. The 9 Trey in New York is a very, very huge street organization or street set. Out of the it's a lot of East Coast sets, blood sets out here, and you have a few West Coast blood sets out here, but the East Coast sets are the dominant. And 9 Trey specifically is a very huge one, you know, in the East Coast, and you know, parts of the South too. So they never had an opportunity to have an artist like 6ix9ine come up out of it, and they never really prepared for that. And let me camera B it real quick. When you look at Cardi B claims the Brims, okay, they put out of the Bronx, and the Brims, you know, whoever the leadership in the Brims, right, they were able to facilitate, okay, Cardi's our artist, this is how we're going to protect her, this is how we're going to stay out of RICO, and this is how we're going to sustain ourselves. You notice Cardi has never been in no RICO, no nothing. besides Star Brim, her homie girlfriend, that was down with her. Nobody else really got caught up in no drama, and so every set doesn't. This is why I talk about accountability and influence and accountability. That each one teach one, each one reach one. Another 5% of the nation affirmation is that amongst the Bloods is that the Brims had, they studied the West Coast. They studied the Brims on the East Coast, studied the West Coast, and how the West Coast was able to be the best example of how you can come from the street, claim a set, avoid RICO, and be very successful. All of those artists out in the West Coast were able to do that. You don't be hearing no RICO cases. It's amazing, And so I don't think that the 9 Trey Bloods were able to understand the responsibility of what it meant to have an artist like 6ix9ine, and because he blew so fast, so powerfully, and it was so much money, it was millions of dollars generated amongst them. And the problem was the leadership in the street and behind the gangster wall, the G wall, were not in unison, right? So remember, you have a street leadership, but you also have the jail leadership, right? And a successful set is going to have an understanding in the flow between the streets and the gangster wall, right? And if that transparency is not understood, then the fight for power will ensue. What you saw in 6ix9ine situation was the fight for power. He jumped from big homie to big homie through his whole career, through his whole time with them. That year and a half, he was dealing, besides outside of Shotty, he was dealing with other big homies too, and the big homies, if they're not all in line financially and creating a business, then they're gonna create their own business with him accordingly. Feel me? So what you saw in chaos. Now, also, these brothers, respectfully, they didn't necessarily were not business savvy. They were street dudes, And I'm talking respect. I'm not saying they were not street dudes who didn't get money, but I'm saying as far as how the industry goes and how to, avoid getting RICO, they didn't know how to legitimize how they dealt with 6ix9ine, And so what that means is, let's say 6ix9ine is our artist on the phone, me, you, and your homie, right? If you and your homie got homies that's still shooting and killing and wilding and selling dope, right? And 6ix9ine goes from me to you to your homie, right? And we're being all watched by the feds, we it's a wrap. You feel me? So you had a lot of these brothers were already being watched by the authorities for some time. A lot of these brothers were, rock stars, superstars in the city as far as the street life, coming from that set. A lot of those brothers had a lot of influence in the street. And they were already being watched. They already had open cases. You know what I'm saying? So in the midst of all of this happening in the leadership, 6ix9ine comes and generates millions of dollars. That, like, he was the biggest thing out of New York. So you have 4 or 5 different big homies, all, I'm not even talking about behind the G wall, just in the street, have a different way of how they think the money should, be dealt with. And since they don't agree how the money should be dealt with and how to effectively legitimize themselves, right? Because there's no unity. Now you see 6ix9ine, he represents a specific set with no leadership of how to organize the funds. So the feds are watching the money move, right? So if you have 5 different big homies, let's say they have initial legitimate intentions, but let's say I give you 10 stacks, thinking you're gonna go be you and your man gonna do t-shirts. You take that 10 stacks, the feds is watching that 10 stacks. You don't do t-shirts, you flip that into some dope. You flip that into some guns. So all they kept doing is watch the money. They're watching the money, right? And they're watching a conflict. Feel me? So there's no unity. The money's moving all types of recklessly, and all they're doing is building a case. Right, I'm a little long-winded. Part myself.
I love it, homie. This is my favorite type of interview.
My bottom, beloved. My bottom line to y'all is that was a situation, respectfully, because I have nothing but love for those brothers who got caught up. Ultimately, I have love for them. But my problem with them and a lot of the leadership in New York is that we don't hold collectively each other accountable. So, like I say, go from banging to building. That was all since the 90s. That was my vision. How can we all come through our rites of passage in the street, but ultimately become formed from boys to men? You know what I mean? How can we create a better bridge so that the YGs can actually develop and not repeat some of the same cycles? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, my vision went from Unified Hood, Hill Hood in the 90s. My dream one day, by the time we got to a Takashi situation, where would have been where Shadi and all the other names, you know, leadership would have been more on a unified front, legitimately wise, right? Where they were able to break bread, protect their artists, protect their interests. Even if homies in the street still was doing street stuff, they would have had a legacy going, right? That would have put them in a realm of success and not still caught up in the street shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what happened. It was a mismanagement of leadership. That's what happens when you don't have the elders or the OGs on the same page. You've been blessed with the biggest cash cow you can imagine, and nobody's taking leadership to bring everybody together on the same page. And that's just what happened. You know, it's very sad. 6ix9ine was not protected. Ultimately, he wasn't. You know, various big homies before 6ix9ine even appeared, they had issues with each other. I'm not saying nothing new. This is if you from the blood cloth in New York, you know that. You know, a lot of those, again, I'm saying respectfully, a lot of those brothers they were still part of the same set, you know, but a lot of them had their.
I want to talk to you about before we leave is, you know, a lot of our people, and when I say our people, I'm talking Black and Latino, we eat so unhealthy. And, you know, for us, it goes back to when we were first brought here. I mean, they were giving us the BS and feeding it to us, the pig intestines and all that shit. But you have another mission that's very close to your heart. Talk to me about your book. Your book did eventually come out, correct? The Remedy?
The Remedy, yeah, it's been out. Yeah,
okay, cool. Talk to me about that and you know, just your kind of mission to make us a little bit more healthy. And feel free to go on as long as you want, man.
Well, yeah, you know, again, you know, early on, you know, I knew that, you know, unify the hood could not be complete without healing the hood, you know, because a lot of these brothers that we're talking about stopping the gang violence, coming together to work together to be more productive, a lot of them are exposed to health disparities, hypertension, diabetes, obesity, heart attacks. You know, a lot of these young brothers and sisters have extreme health disparities. So the warriors are sick, basically. And that's where the heal the hood component came from. I was born and raised vegan from the womb. I'm the eldest son of world-renowned holistic wellness practitioner Queen Afua. So I was raised in the environment of health and wellness, even though I had my, you know, my deviation into the street life, like a lot of brothers and sisters who, you know, who are raised in our type of communities. You know, we kind of deviate, but, you know, you bump your head, you learn some stuff, and you activate your knowledge of self and you grow. And so in my growth and development, you know, I wanted to always contribute you know, inspiration around health and wellness and self-accountability to brothers and sisters to live a better quality of life. And so if we talk about ending gun violence and we talk about, you know, changing the environment so brothers and sisters can thrive, we have to also change the internal environment, you know, how they see themselves, how they're operating with themselves and in their cells, you know, and what are they doing, what are they feeding themselves so they're not acting out aggressively. You know, a lot of times when the body is in a disease state and it's not getting this proper nutrition, it's going to be in a very volatile experience, you know what I'm saying? And that can translate how it shows up externally. So, and we see it, you know, ultimately in hip hop culture, we have lost a lot of powerful artists for health disparities. Yes. Big Pun, we lost him, obesity. We lost Heavy D from a heart attack. Nate Dogg, heart attack.
Fat Boy. Fat Boys. Yeah,
I mean, it just goes on and on. Yeah. I mean, it's just sad. I mean, Guru. We lost.
Bernie Mac. I mean, if we're talking, you know.
But you know, he you know, liver failure. We lost J. Liver failure. None of these brothers were 50 years old. Mm-hmm. So you know, one of my, you know, besides helping the G's organize, you know, I'm known as the hip hop medicine man because that's the acronym, that's the affirmation that I stand on as far as being a hip hop artist and a leader, to stand on health and wellness, because nothing, if we don't, you know, take back the sovereignty of how we operating holistically, mind, body, and spirit, optimum wellness, then we're subjected to the chaos of oppression and oppressing each other, And so writing the book, The Remedy, creating a pathway for those that want to be plant-based, that want to learn how to begin the process to take back their power through holistic health. That's my book, The Remedy, that inspired me also to form my first plant-based supplement company with my brother Ali the Great and my cousin Chris Kazi Roll. We have a wellness supplement company called Supa Mega Foods, cellular nutrition, building muscle, plant-based nutrition. We just released a new immunity formula for those that are dealing with the COVID-19 atmosphere.
Please give out that website because I want to contribute somehow.
SUPA megafoods.com, Super Mega Foods, SUPA megafoods.com is the name of the site. And again, for those that really want high level plant-based nutrition products, if you're trying to gain weight holistically without animal products, we have the Super Mega Protein, which is moringa, maca root, pea protein, pumpkin protein, sprouted brown rice protein, chlorella. So if you really want to do that in a powerful way, you can do that. If you really want to detox from the heavy metals in the atmosphere and just to get the body back on a cellular level, you have the Super Mega Greens superfoods, which is chlorophyll based, the alfalfa, the dandelion, the chlorella, the spirulina, the wheatgrass. And if you really want to get your immune system even much more stronger in this atmosphere, we have the Super Mega Immunity Mix, which is an elixir, 1 or 2 drops under the tongue, which is echinacea, elderberry, reishi, mushroom, olive leaf. These are powerful immune function remedies that help to keep the body in a really balanced homeostasis environment. So that's my mission: unify the hood and heal the hood, or heal the hood, unify the hood. The way you flip it, I've always felt that affirmation is the full conversation. If you talk about peace and ending conflict, disparity amongst brothers and sisters through violence, you also have to talk about the internal violence that we put our emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual selves in, and making sure we have the proper nutrition, body, mind, and spirit to aid what we're doing externally. So we're saying peace externally with another human being. We have to also be working for internal peace with ourselves.
Damn. Supernova Slum, it's been a pleasure. This has been one of my favorite interviews that I've had in a long time. And look, anybody can look back at my show. I don't say that often. This was really very educational, and I appreciate your time, man. And I encourage everybody go out to supamegafoods.com and support this brother as much as you can. Check out his YouTube channel, Supernova Slom. I would love to chat with you in the future and see if we can build together, my man.
Yes. Appreciate you, brother.
You have a great night, all right?
Thank you for you, fam. Thank
Peace,
you.
Man.
Appreciate it. Peace.
Love those type of interviews, Dre. You know why? Because I said 8 words the whole time.
My mic is off now. I mean, yeah, no, it's the first time you asked about Tekashi, and it actually got a great answer where I was like, damn, this is great.
Yeah.
And
not just fucking, man. He ain't shit. He a clown.
This guy has some great,
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
it was great information. I would love to hear him talk longer. It was great hearing him talk.
Damn.
And also I was thinking, like, there's been times where in the past where I thought, man, maybe walked into an investigation or two by accident because of the people I deal with.
Yeah.
But, I walk in and out.
Right, yeah. Pick some up and leave, right? You're on some paper somewhere. Some skinny Cuban dude came by and picked up a bag of white material.
But they're probably like, nah, he ain't nobody.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. Yeah, I'm definitely on paperwork somewhere. Yo, let's take a little break, Dre. Let's take a little pee break and a little, we'll grab another beer. And Dre's going to put on some music for us. Please do come back. We have Milk 7 Foe returning to the show. You see how I did that shit? Because I'm a rapper. You feel me? I'm a rapper. Playboy. All right. Super Audio Network, Dusty Vision Radio. We'll be right back.
I don't know about you guys, but I prefer rides on.
Shot town to LA. Stand up. Scrub life. Beat squad. Los Angeles tour guide for the Palmer Squares. I had a tiger like shades a kid at Auburn wears. Does a vulgar bear shit in the woods? Same answer if you ask me if my spitting is good. An unastounding guess, a resounding yes. Music lovers bump me and they start frowning less. They find inner peace and they wake up with their cheese and balance. Their sex lives improve, they start to skeet in gallons. I have a hard time being challenged. They bring beef, but it feels like I'm eating salads. They spitting hard, but it sounds like I'm hearing ballads. Bravo, you have the opposite motto as DJ Khaled's. Sick like my dick gets scabs. I'm from Maryland, no, I really miss crabs. Dick grabs to the dick, that's how your bitch grabs it. You can say the shit is like a chick magnet, but I'm trying to find a woman that comes without stress. Always fly baggage free like Southwest. Pussy good, but her mouth best. First place, Ribbon Nathan's women division contest. But I ain't obsessed, cause I'm about progress. Only when the world's complete did God rest. Amen. Amen, amen. Say it again, amen. Then you play it.
Yo, it's the immaculate, amazing. Always pushing the envelope. Rampant double agent in the bush with a telescope. Hella dope, get hype when I rock shit. Life is aquatic, spike the concoction. Find me intoxicated, cutting a sequence. Puffing a tree, forever stuck in a pretense. I'll pummel the defense and jet past the goal line. I'm steadfast, you posers been dead last your whole life. My crew's sadistic, abuse a highfalutin nitwit. The rhyme is too consistent, kinda stupid, isn't it? I'm a human dictionary, shit as sick as dysentery. Visionary, though it's true, my intuition varies. Pardon my wordiness, but lately I've been curious if anyone can market tight verbiage. Got the impeccable vocabulary, head for the doors, settling scores when I execute my adversaries. Palmer Squares break bread with the son Sam. Gonna cram 8 heads in a duffel bag, cause right about now I'd like to lock the block down. Hot sound, rhyming high on psychotropic compounds. Bet you couldn't find anyone cooler. Anyone, Bueller. When we come through, better run for the exit. Check it 1, 2, then I wreck shit.
I'm no Leroy Brown, but I'm bad. Jimmy Crow G, spit bam bam, Bigelow heat. I'ma steal your crowd, a grand slam hitter. I simply won't tap dance a man tan tippy toe. Stand like Thibodeau, sleep with an open eye. Head for the bed and all I reach is the floor beside. The most wanted, stones hop at the post office. Terminal knowledge, turning no profit. It isn't in me to be unsuccessful, but it's
Dusty Vision Radio, Super Audio Network, 7 p.m. Pacific every Thursday. Thank you guys for joining the program. I hope you guys are safe out there.
Yeah,
We're
man.
about to be back on lockdown. Feel locked up. It's 10 p.m. curfew, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Yeah.
Some bullshit, man.
It sucks, man. Do you think it's? But you know what sucks even more is like, not that we might need it, because I wish they would have done this from the beginning, just to be like, yo, everybody 2 weeks, stay home, like it's mandatory lockdown.
Here we are, 7 months later, and they're still, this is what they should have done 7 months ago.
But what makes me mad is the governor.
Oh,
he got caught slipping, and now it's gonna make everybody else want to do what the fuck they want.
Play his video. Have you seen his bullshit apology, Gavin Newsom?
Oh no, I haven't seen the apology. I've seen the video.
It was the worst, most smug, condescending apology ever. Gavin Newsom is the worst.
I'm starting to realize that. I voted for him in the beginning, but I'm starting to regret it. Only because he brought us legal weed.
Oh, that's the only good thing he did.
That's
and
it.
He always looks stoned to me. But he is the worst thing to happen to California. I don't know. Arnold Schwarzenegger was fucking better than this guy.
You think? What about Reagan?
See, I was too young, but from what I understand, Reagan was good, but I don't know. I don't know. I was too young. But yeah, this guy is locking us down again.
Bad.
He's locking us down, and he for anyone who doesn't know, he's telling us we need to stay home. But he's going to laundry parties where they have an array of hors d'oeuvres. Wait, is this it right here? Let's listen to it. He has that face that you just want to punch.
November 16, 2020.
Yeah, that sounds about. I don't know, but that's him. Let's play it. Let's see what he's talking about.
I think he's. Hold on, let me see. If
I
can find
love the sign language people.
Yeah, me too.
Those are the best. Sometimes they get into it. There's this one chick. She'd be like putting her back into it and shit. I'm like, damn, she's pretty dope. But yeah, it's Gavin Newsom apology. He apologizes for, breaking the rule that he so put forth in place. And it was just the worst apology ever. And God, dude,
I'll get it.
Yeah, it's all good. Go ahead and find it. Go ahead and find it. But yeah, so because of him, we're going to have to stay inside from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., which I'm pretty much fine with. I'm old now. Like I don't go out anyway. What I'm thinking of is the businesses. I mean, we've already hit them, slammed them. They've already put so much money into trying to come up to code and shit like that. And now, sorry, I mean, like, where am I gonna get, Dre? This isn't all about me, but where am I gonna get 2 taquitos in the middle of the night when I'm super stoned if AM PM is closed?
Or not even AM PM, but how about what am I gonna do when I want to get tacos and the taco house is closed? You know what I mean?
Taco trucks. If there's one thing I do after 10 p.m. is I'll stop at a random taco truck. That's one of the best things about.
Oh, I think that was the video.
Oh, it was. Yeah, go ahead and play it. Let's see what it is. Let's see this little smug guy. The apology was only like 30 seconds, but
to go to a friend's 50th birthday.
Yeah, go ahead and take it all the way back. This is Gavin Newsom's apology.
On the minimized mixing, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge something just before we go into the Q&A. And that is very soberly acknowledge that a few weeks ago, I was asked to go to a friend's 50th birthday. My wife and I, a friend that I've known for almost 20
Doesn't matter.
years.
Pause it.
And
Does it fucking matter? Listen to all the lollygagging.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I know my grandma for 50 years. I know my grandma for 50 years, and I can't Thanksgiving, right? Isn't that what he's saying?
Exactly. Yep. And he's an older dude. He's in his 60s, right? Like, he's in the demographic that's going to get it. And if he knows the other guy, I bet you there's a bunch of other old white people there, and it's like, these are the motherfuckers that are dying from it, okay? The very small percentage is dying, but the people that are dying are the people his age and above. Go ahead and hit play.
Time and energy into his 50th birthday. It was in Napa, which was in the orange status, relatively loose compared to some other counties.
It doesn't matter. Pause. My blood pressure's going up. I need to smoke. Dre.
Yeah.
Does it fucking matter if he was in Orange County?
No. In the orange, he's saying that it was orange level.
No. I'm saying he said he was in Napa. He's going on about Napa Valley, and it was in Napa. It doesn't matter where it was.
I think you as a leader should set the example regardless of what the level is. You know what I mean? You should be like, all right, I'm going to at least wear a mask at this motherfucker.
This is the typical do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly.
And these are our leaders. Go ahead, hit play, Dre.
Outdoor restaurant, and we started the program started at 4 o'clock. It was one of those early reservations. I got there a little bit late at 4:30.
Can you pause? Dre, does it matter if you got there at fucking 7:30?
No.
11:30.
No. Well, I mean, 11:30 is supposed to be past curfew or whatever the fuck it is.
My point is, who gives a goddamn that it was 4:30?
Yeah.
But it will start at 4 o'clock, but I showed up at 4:30.
I don't know. Yeah, what does that mean?
This is his apology. This is the worst apology ever. And we're gonna listen to the whole thing, but this is kin to a dude who cheats on his chick.
Yeah.
and then just like gives a bunch of bullshit. Well, I mean, it was 5:30 and it was Napa Valley. Go ahead and press play, Dre.
It's Vegas.
Down at the larger table, I realized it was a little larger group than I had anticipated, and I made a bad mistake.
You trying to say it wasn't me?
I should have stood up and walked back, got in my car, and drove back.
But you did.
To my house. Instead, I chose.
Pause it. Instead, I pulled out my dick and let her suck it, wife. Like, this is the word. Like, let's kind of relate this to a guy apologizing about cheating on a chick. Jerry, can you take it back like 10 seconds? Listen to this. Ladies, I want you to think, if your man you walked into the bedroom and you saw your man getting head from your sister, what would you, and this is his apology, listen to this as he leads up to.
And we had an early dinner, but didn't matter. I shouldn't have been there. I should have turned back around. And so when that happens, you pay the price, but you also own the mistake, and you don't ever make it again. And you have my word. Minimize mixing. You gotta own up to that. So I just want folks to know that. Paid for our dinner, and we had an early dinner, but didn't matter. I shouldn't have been there. I should have turned back around.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Worst apology ever, dude.
I don't know, man.
That's
pretty bad. I would have been like, "Yo, you guys caught me. Whatever my reasons were, they're wrong. And honestly, I think we should all stay home.
I would respect him much more if he said that. It could have been a 10-second apology. Look, I fucked up big time. Like, I'm a dumbass. I get it. That's what you do when you cheat on your chick. You know, you straight up, I was a dumbass. What the fuck did I do? You don't say, look, babe, you know, it was 4:30. I showed up, right, baby? Come on. And then, you know, it was Napa Valley, right? And look, I should have got in the car, but I didn't get in the car. No, you just own up to it. Look, look, baby, look, she sucked my dick. I apologize. And this is not an apology, dude. These are our leaders, right?
No, it's not. It's not.
Oh, God, it just burns me up. And because of this guy, we're going to have to
But we're going to get the vaccine pretty soon.
That's what they're saying.
Pfizer's applied for emergency approval.
That's what they're saying.
We'll have doses by the end of the year. We won't get them, but I think we'll get ours early. My theory is this. Depending on your insurance, you're going to get your doses either first quarter of next year or second quarter of next year.
I'm not sure I want it. But here we are. Here's the deal.
I'll get access. Well, I mean, if you want it, you'll get it.
Yeah, here's the deal.
They're not going to force it on you.
Okay. Not yet.
You think so? You think Biden's going to mandatory?
I don't know if Biden will, but it's more along the states, right? Someone like Gavin Newsom would.
No, but I mean,
I don't know. I would never think that I would have to stay in my house from 10 to 6. Like, they are making me stay in my house from 10 to 6.
True. The governors have that power.
If you go back to the beginning stages of socialism, Nazi, the Nazi part. That's like the beginning stages of it. Look, I'm no conspiracy theorist. Calm down, everybody. But I know I smell something fishy, and will they be able to just walk into our house if they suspect that we have 12 people instead of 10? I don't know. I don't. If you would have told me a year ago everybody would be walking around with a mask, I would think you're fucking crazy. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
No, it is scary. And a lot of people, I think, are going to test that limit. And then, you know what sucks is that I feel I want our rights, but I also, people are going to spread it faster.
Fucking stupid. Exactly. See, I'm fine. Once again, I'm cool with
I need that vaccine. I need to get that vaccine.
Yeah. So are you going to get it if they? Okay.
If it comes from my doctor, like if Kaiser says, yo, this is good, we're good to give it to you, then I will go with it.
Yeah, I think because here we go back to the mandatory thing. You're familiar with MMR, the vaccines that we are required to take if our children want to go to kindergarten.
Yeah.
There are 3. It's measles, mumps, and whatever, MMR, rubella, something like that.
Yeah.
But there's 3 that we must take mandatory for our children to enter into a public school or even a private school. Period, point blank. If you don't have that, your child is going to be homeschooled, which is another reason why the homeschooling thing has shot up, is because there are a lot of anti-vaxxers out there. But what's stopping them from doing an MMRC for the COVID? It's going to be mandatory, I think. They're going to push it on us, I think.
But, I mean, maybe. Smallpox, everybody kind of took it, though. It wasn't even needed to be mandatory.
Yeah.
People just took it, and it fucked them up. But they were like, yo, I didn't want to get that shit.
What trips me out is that there's smallpox, like they're keeping smallpox around. Like smallpox is like in a little vial somewhere like this, like somewhere in a lab.
Yeah.
It's just sitting there right now. Like nobody has it. Like smallpox is a done deal. Like nobody gets smallpox anymore. But if someone decides to grab this capsule, this little capsule right here, open it, pull the smallpox out, blow it into the air, we have smallpox again. My point is, why do they just not take this capsule and throw it in the trash can?
Well, because they need to, like, if smallpox just break out, they
need something, right?
Yeah.
Like to compare it to.
Like, I think so.
That's creepy to me.
It is creepy, and coronavirus, we'll never find out whether it was man-made or.
That's
or
what I'm
natural.
saying. That's because that's one of the theories, is that it was in a lab somewhere.
We'll never find out. I think it's crazy. It is crazy, man.
Scary.
Absolutely.
I'm officially scared.
And it's I just wanted things to go back to normal, but that's never going to happen again.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got to get used to this new normal. And the worst thing about it is the whole time where we're going through these growing pains or these changes, our economy is crashing around the world, and our credibility. This Asian Pacific the deal they made with
Mhm.
China
Mhm.
as the like this trade deal,
Mhm.
it kind of cuts us out. And even the European Union is starting to figure out
That's
that we're
too
not
deep
gonna
for me.
we're not gonna.
That's too fucking deep for me.
I'm serious, dude. It's like,
No, the whole world's fuck. And when I say I'm scared,
and it's all happened in 4 years, man.
no, this happened in 1 year. Like,
Oh yeah, you're
I
right.
mean, less than a year. Like before then, shit was popping. Like things were like January. If I could go back to January, great. Fucking January 2020 was awesome. But this all happened in less than a year, and it's like it's really scary because damn, I was gonna say, fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. It was good too, but that's when the weed when
Kicks
the
in.
weed comes in.
Hey, it is what it is.
No, it's damn.
Sorry.
No, it wasn't you. It was me because I'm fucking high.
Just talking about it being deep, and I was talking about how fucking shit's going on, the Pacific trade and all that shit.
Pacific
Fuck.
trade. Maybe that's what it was. Pacific trade. Asians. They started this. Wait, no, I better not say that. No, we love the Asians. We love the Asians. But no,
You hear
man.
about that one guy who said yellow folks on a conference call?
Oh no, he did not. Why is this still happening to people? People, can you just? Here's the deal. Unless you're doing this, what me and Dre are doing, and we're not racist by any means, but unless when you're driving, everybody's racist when they're driving, so that's a pass. But can you just assume that you're always being recorded? Like when you walk down the street, like I'm assuming I'm being recorded somewhere. Like there's phones everywhere, right? Everybody's walking around with this, so I could just be passing by and I'll say, yeah, those Asian people, and somebody will be on their phone over there, and they're doing something totally different, but they catch me, my face, now I'm viral. When I walk outside, I am 100% like thinking like, okay, dude, somebody's fucking watching. And I would encourage everybody out there to do that. There's no reason why you should be caught saying yellow people on Zoom. Like what? Like really, dude? Especially on Zoom.
And this guy was like a anti-racist person. He was talking about anti-race. He was
the ones.
He was talking about something about anti-racism, and he said we need to include all our black, brown, yellow folks people.
Black, brown, yellow. Oh shit. Oh yeah, that doesn't sound good.
No, he said.
I mean.
And they're
I
like,
said it'll sound cool.
And
He
like,
must have been
yo,
white. He's white,
no,
right?
No, I think. Well,
No, he
actually,
has to
I
be
don't.
white.
Actually, I
He
don't know.
has
I
to
don't
be
know.
white.
I don't know. But what I'm saying is, people are saying like,
Yeah.
okay, black people they identify as black, brown
Right.
people identify as
But
brown.
Asians do not
But
identify
Asians
as
do
yellow.
not
That's like saying
identify as
red
yellow.
and saying
Exactly.
Indian. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the one thing they were like,
100%.
You were.
See, okay.
You had to apologize on that.
That's one of those ones. I guarantee he grew up listening to hip hop. I guarantee it's a white dude, first off. Secondly, I guarantee he grew up listening to hip hop. And that's the thing. I'm afraid this is going to happen to my mom because she's so innocent like that, right?
Yeah.
Like she would say something like that
Yeah.
and totally not even mean anything.
Ignorant.
You know what I mean? She's just 65 years old and
Yeah.
like it's like black, brown, yellow. The red is white. Everyone's the same in the good Lord's sight. Like, right? That's a
Yeah.
song we sing at church, dog. So it's black, brown, yellow. It is red. It is white. Everyone's the same in the good Lord's sight. Black, brown, yellow, red, white. Like he just named Asians, Indians, white people in this song that we grew up singing in church. So to my mom, it's like it's so to this poor guy because I feel like it came from a place of innocence, but people twisted it.
Yeah.
And this cancel culture is a problem. That's why this cancel culture is a problem, and it really bothers me because. Don't go after this guy. He's not the guy you want to go
pretty
after. There are
stupid,
some
though.
real fucking racist people out there. Believe
yeah.
me. I
Yeah.
know there's
I
some
get it.
100% racist people out there. Leave this poor guy alone. He probably grew up listening to that church song, and now he's crucified because he was caught on Zoom. But yes, that's where, and I'm going to be that guy in 20 years. I'm going to be the guy in 20 years that says trans, and trans isn't the word you're supposed to say
tranny.
anymore. Right? No, see, I don't even say that anymore because I said it one time, and someone's like, you probably shouldn't say that, especially in L.A. or some parts of L.A. You don't want to say that shit. You know, I respect everybody, so I'm not going to disrespect.
I was talking about transmission, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly, man. I need my trannies down, man. My cuss just gonna cost me $1,000 goddamn dollars. Shit.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Oh shit. 18-inch cock. No,
No.
we're not. On that note, we should probably get the
Alrighty.
hell out of here.
All right, man.
We were gonna have another interview, but you know he flaked on me, so it's all good. I hope you guys stay safe out there. It's getting crazy. It's getting scary. That's what I was gonna say. I'm not scared because of me. Like I'm not scared to get coronavirus. It doesn't. If I get it, I'll be under the weather. You know, most likely for a few days, and I'll be fine. I'm scared because my wife went to the store today, and everything's gone again. I'm afraid of how other people are reacting to this shit. I'm not afraid of how I'm going to get it, how I'm going to react. I'm afraid of how you motherfuckers are reacting out there. So can you guys please just calm down? We're all going to make it through this thing. There's no reason for you to buy 17 rolls of toilet paper. Like, chill out. Has anybody run out of toilet paper? I've literally never heard of any of any person running out, legitly running out of toilet
I have,
paper.
but that was because I was broke, and it was back in the early days.
Oh, but in the past 9 months, we have not heard of anybody running out of toilet paper. So there's no reason for you to go out there and buy 17 rolls of toilet paper. Because
17 packs.
Packs. That's what I mean. Packs of fucking toilet paper. Putting them on crates and walking them out. Calm the fuck down. Wear your mask when you're outside. Stay your ass inside as much as you can, and we will all get through this. Stop throwing the goddamn parties. Stop passing the blunts around. People, stop passing the blunts around. Can we just, look, bring your own goddamn weed to the party, okay? Roll up your own blunt and tell everybody else to roll their own blunt. I don't share joints anymore. Not right now. When this thing passes, maybe I will. But I think one thing we need to do is stop passing around blunts. Like, knock that off, and I guarantee this thing will go down at least 17%. Dusty Vision Radio, Super Audio Network, every Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific. I appreciate you guys checking out the show. Dre Day all day. It's always a pleasure, my dude.
Thank you.
Next week is Thanksgiving, so we will not be here. But
for real?
yes, but I will see you guys the following. Yeah, it's Thanksgiving next weekend, man. I'll see you guys the following weekend, and then I'll be taking a couple of weeks off in December for Christmas. But yes, the show shall go on. Super Audio Network, Dusty Vision Radio. See you soon. Peace.